The night my wife confessed she'd fallen in love with her coworker, she told me to pack my things and leave. I didn't argue, because I knew something she didn't. The office where she found her soulmate was the empire I built. She thought she won the game, but in the end, I owned the board. And when I laughed in her face at the truth, that's when regret hit her harder than betrayal ever hit me. Before I take you into this explosive confession, don't forget to subscribe. Your support keeps this channel alive and ensures you never miss the most shocking family betrayal stories uploaded here every single day. Now, let's dive into how it all began. My name's Daniel Carter, and for 10 years I thought I had it all. A stable marriage, a beautiful home, and a growing company. My wife Melissa was my college sweetheart. She was sharp, ambitious, and had that smile that could light up a room. I built everything with her by my side, or so I thought. But behind that smile, she was planning something I didn't see coming. It started small. Late nights at work, business trips that didn't add up, text messages she hid with a nervous laugh. I told myself she was stressed, that she needed space. But deep down, my gut whispered the truth. Melissa wasn't just working late. She was working me over. The breaking point came one Friday evening. I walked into the living room, and there she was, eyes red, hands trembling, rehearsing some speech. She finally blurted it out. "Daniel, I've fallen in love with someone else. His name is Ethan, from my office. You need to pack your things and leave." Her words hit like a truck, but my face didn't flinch. She mistook my silence for weakness, for surrender. What she didn't know was that the company she and Ethan worked for, the shiny corporate tower she bragged about, was one of my quiet acquisitions. She thought she was climbing the ladder, but I was the one who built the ladder. "Melissa," I said calmly, "if that's how you feel, I won't fight you." Her jaw slackened, surprised I didn't beg or rage. But inside, a storm was brewing. Not because she betrayed me, but because she dared to think she had the upper hand. Over the next few days, she flaunted her new freedom. I'd hear her giggling on late-night calls, whispering to Ethan like a teenage crush. She moved into the guest room, leaving our bedroom cold and empty. But instead of drowning in heartbreak, I was drafting plans. Silent, strategic, patient. Melissa didn't know I had eyes everywhere. A few well-placed calls to my board members, a discreet word with HR directors, and Ethan's name was flagged. I didn't fire him right away. No, that would be too easy. I wanted them both to dance in their fantasy a little longer, believing they'd outsmarted me. Days turned into weeks, and Melissa's arrogance grew. She'd walk around the house like she owned it, dropping passive-aggressive comments. "Daniel, maybe you'll find someone who's less boring." Or, "Ethan just understands me better than you ever could." Each jab was fuel to the fire I kept hidden under a calm smile. But then came the dinner. That night, Melissa dressed to kill. Sleek black dress, perfume heavy in the air. "I'm going out with Ethan," she said proudly, like twisting a knife. I simply nodded. What she didn't know was that I'd already arranged for them to dine at my restaurant, one of the many assets under my private holdings. And better yet, I had reserved the table next to theirs. When I walked in, their faces drained of color. Melissa's eyes widened. Ethan nearly choked on his wine. I greeted them like old friends, shook Ethan's trembling hand, and said, "Enjoying the food? I own this place." The silence at that table was worth every sleepless night. Melissa stammered, Ethan fidgeted, and I just smiled. But that was only the appetizer. I wasn't done yet. Behind the scenes, my plan was unfolding. Ethan had been quietly promoted thanks to Melissa's whispers in the office, her pulling strings, believing she was making him rise. What she didn't know was that I had signed off on every promotion, every bonus, every glowing review. I was building him up just to pull the rug from under them both. At home, Melissa kept pushing. "Daniel, you really should move out soon. Ethan and I are serious. I want him to move in." Her audacity was almost laughable. Instead of arguing, I agreed with a smirk. Because soon, she wouldn't just lose me. She'd lose Ethan, her job, and every ounce of security she thought she had. One thing was clear. Melissa thought she was playing me like a fool. But I wasn't just the husband she was betraying. I was the man who controlled the very world she thought she'd escaped into. And when the time came to reveal the truth, it wouldn't just break her heart, it would shatter her pride. I let the night pass, as if nothing had changed. Melissa went about her routines, confident, smirking, convinced her secret was safe. But behind my calm exterior, every detail had been accounted for. Every lie, every late-night whisper, every hidden message, none of it could escape me. I watched, waited, and planned. The patience wasn't torture. It was precision. Friday came, and she left the house, radiant and careless, for what she called a team dinner. I kissed the kids goodbye and smiled, letting her believe her little fantasy of freedom remained intact. She had no idea that her world was about to flip entirely. The first call came from an unexpected source. Mark's wife, quiet, composed, and clearly devastated by what she'd discovered. I had reached out to her only briefly, enough to plant a seed of truth, and now she was in place. Her presence was part of the plan, though Melissa didn't know it yet. When Melissa returned home later that evening, she expected a normal night. Dinner, maybe a few quiet words, nothing out of the ordinary. But the house felt different. Empty, yes, but charged. The lights were low, the kids asleep, and in the kitchen I waited. Not angry, not yelling, not dramatic. Just me. Calm. Watching. "Daniel, what?" she began, her voice faltering. I held up a folder. "Do you remember the team dinner tonight?" I asked softly. Her eyes darted to the papers, instinctively defensive. "I hope you enjoyed your night out," I continued. "Because I have a few photos, messages, and receipts to show you how much you've really been enjoying yourself." Her smirk faltered. She tried to laugh it off, but the tremor in her hands betrayed her. I spread the evidence across the table. Time-stamped messages, photos, and receipts from the places she thought were invisible. Every carefully crafted lie she'd woven over the past months now lay bare. Every smile she had given Mark, every whispered word, every stolen glance. It was all documented, irrefutable. Melissa sank into the chair, shock rooting her to the spot. "Daniel, this isn't—" Her words trailed off as the reality hit her. She had assumed her betrayal was hidden, that I'd remain oblivious. She hadn't counted on the quiet patience of someone she underestimated. I didn't need to say more. The evidence spoke for itself. The cold clarity of truth has a weight that anger never can. And then came the part she hadn't expected, the people who mattered most quietly arriving at the edge of her world. Mark's wife, calm and collected, stepped forward. Melissa's eyes widened, realization dawning. She hadn't just betrayed me. She'd thrown herself into a web she hadn't imagined, and now she was trapped by her own choices. The confrontation didn't need yelling. It didn't need theatrics. Melissa's panic and disbelief were enough to fill the room. The betrayal had finally been mirrored back at her in its full magnitude. She tried to weave excuses, gaslight, minimize, but the facts were brutal, unyielding. Her carefully constructed fantasy crumbled silently around her. For a moment, I let her unravel, watched the fear in her eyes, and felt a satisfaction that had nothing to do with anger. This wasn't about revenge as spectacle. It was about the quiet, undeniable reality of being outsmarted. Every lie she had believed safe, every moment she had felt clever, now revealed its fragility. I told her simply, "You made your choices, and now you get to live with the consequences." She trembled, unable to respond. The life she thought she could manipulate had turned against her. Relationships strained, trust broken, and pride shattered. Everything she had thought she could control was gone. And me? I sat back, calm, watching, knowing that the last laugh was mine. In the days that followed, Melissa faced the inevitable fallout. Friends noticed her withdrawal, coworkers whispered behind closed doors, and even family members began questioning her actions. She had thought betrayal was silent, but consequences always echo. Meanwhile, I moved forward, reclaiming the space she had tried to occupy, rebuilding trust with my children, and savoring the quiet victory of having held my composure while she realized the depth of her mistakes. She reached out, pleading, remorseful, begging for forgiveness. But the trust broken cannot be forced back. I responded with the quiet satisfaction of someone who had planned carefully, acted decisively, decisively, and now watched the truth unfold with dignity intact. Her regret was palpable, visible in every hesitant glance, every faltering step, every unspoken apology. The final laugh, the one she never saw coming, wasn't in confrontation. It was in the life she left behind while I reclaimed mine. Quietly, confidently, with nothing lost but the poison she tried to plant in our home. I didn't need to raise my voice or demand drama. The plan had worked, the exposure had been complete, and the woman who thought she had all the power realized she had none. As I tucked the kids into bed that night, I felt a sense of calm clarity. Revenge isn't about chaos. It's about control, patience, and letting the truth do the work for you. Melissa had taught me one thing. Betrayal is loud, but regret is louder, and it echoes long after the lies are gone. Would you have handled it differently? What would you do if you discovered someone you loved had betrayed you? Comment below and share your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe. Your support keeps this channel alive and ensures you never miss another explosive confession that will leave you questioning trust, loyalty, and the power of truth.